The woman took off her pants in the deep pit, and the man glanced at her briefly before quickly putting them away. Without hesitation, he also removed his own pants. However, he then put on his shoes, picked up both pairs of pants, and walked to the edge of the puddle, completely soaking them. Once the pants were thoroughly drenched, he approached a pile of wooden sticks. He removed the belt from the pants and tightly tied 2 sticks together. Then, he secured the sticks using the soaked pants. With everything ready, the man looked up at the 10-meter-high wall before him. He raised the sticks and threw them upward with all his strength. However, the sticks slipped and nearly hit him on the head. Undeterred, he once again used all his might to fling the sticks upward. This time, the sticks successfully caught on the edge of the pit, suspended in midair. He tentatively pulled on the pants to ensure they were secure, then pressed his feet against the wall and began climbing. The smooth wall surface made the climb difficult, and the sticks gradually bent under his weight. He quickened his pace, using both his hands and feet, exerting all his energy to climb upward. Just as he was about to reach the edge of the pit, his foot suddenly slipped. His right leg slammed into the wall, causing him to cry out in agony. He could only hold onto the pants for dear life. However, the sticks couldn't support his weight and eventually snapped. The intense pain caused the man to collapse to the ground, writhing in agony. The woman rushed over to check on him but was shocked by the sight before her. The man's leg had a horrifying gash. Seeing the severity of the situation, the woman quickly tore off a piece of cloth, soaked it, and pressed it against the wound. However, this not only failed to alleviate the pain, but caused the man to scream in agony. As she was nervously bandaging the wound, the sky suddenly darkened and it began to rain. The rain intensified and water continuously poured into the deep pit. The woman's legs trembled. She couldn't swim and feared she would drown in this deep pit. However, the man threw his arms up in the air and laughed loudly. Watching the water level rise, he remained calm, pulling the woman to a corner of the pit to wait for the right moment at a higher position. Soon, the water had risen above their knees. The two pressed against the wall. As long as the water level rose high enough, they could use the buoyancy to escape. However, the woman accidentally fell into the water. She struggled as she sank. The man, disregarding the opportunity to escape, leaped into the water and dragged her back to the surface. But at that moment, the rain stopped. As the sun came out, the water level slowly receded. The man felt somewhat helpless but still tried to comfort her, saying the rain would surely return if they just waited a bit longer. However, they waited an entire day until the ground became dry, without seeing a single drop of rain. Worse yet, soaked in the polluted water, the man's wound had worsened. His face was pale, and terrifying black spots appeared around his eyes. This frightened the woman immensely. But what truly terrified her was the man's bizarre behavior. He knelt on the ground, scooped up the polluted water, and crazily gulped it down. Then he reached into the water, grabbed something, and continuously gnawed on it. The woman retreated in fear. She cautiously called out the man's name. As the man slowly turned around, the woman saw a horrifying sight.